Zachary Little.
Hello. Hi. Yeah, no, I'm kind of busy a little bit. I'm recording a podcast. If you know, do you know what that is? You know what that is. Yeah, I can't really talk. But I can talk to you later. I'll call you later. Okay, yeah, no, that'll be good. Okay. All right. I'll speak to you soon. All right, bye-bye. Okay, is that okay? Is that
Yeah,
good?
that's fine.
All right.
Yeah. I think you were about to ask, is there other places for teenagers to fool around in America?
Yeah.
And my answer is, like, the forest.
Yeah, the forest. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like sort of the sewer system, maybe.
Yeah, sure. So it's April 21st, 2016, and Prince died today. I'm sort of just barely processing it because, I mean, Prince was my very first weirdo hero. He was my freaky North Star. I've been listening to Prince since I was, 5 years old. I think he was literally the first musician I ever liked, other than like Raffi. So, yeah, I'm just sort of processing it in very small ways right now. I rewatched his Super Bowl performance in the rain. I rewatched that video where Tom Petty and all those other old fucks are playing While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and Prince appears like as if summoned by a wizard and just rips this incredible guitar solo and just owns the entire next 3 minutes of the song. And then at the end of the video, it's amazing. He takes his guitar and he throws it up in the air, and I swear, it doesn't land. That guitar, it ascends fucking directly into heaven. There was nowhere else for that guitar to go. Its life had been completed. And then I just saw this quote from Prince on Vox. And it feels like a real Exhibit A for this podcast. He says, "Movies are real. Music is real. It affects people. It's real. The other night I went to a club and I watched a DJ control an entire room. Even politicians can't do that." And when I read that quote, what it immediately made me think of was a story that Noelle Wells told on an episode of Doug Loves Movies I was listening to yesterday. She was talking about going to see the movie Room.
Well, I didn't really know. So I had a straight up PTSD flashback, and I didn't think I was going to have it. I'm going to go deep.
About the movie?
About the movie. Okay, so I went with a friend, and her dad had just recently died, and I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe it might be too touchy. Do you want to go? And she's like, no, it'll be fine. And then, so I was kidnapped by my dad when I was 5, and so, I know, and I talk a lot about it and like joke about it, and like I'm always like, I'm totally fine. And then there's like, anyway, so the movie, there's like a point in the movie where I was like, oh, this is such a good movie, this is so good. And then I don't want to spoil anything, but there was a certain moment where I was like, it was like PTSD, and then I wept uncontrollably the whole movie. Like things like lightning was going through my brain, and I couldn't get up because I knew I would scream. So I was crying so hard.
And even now, as my brain is, basically just playing Let's Go Crazy on a loop, I'm still thinking about that idea of Noelle Wells in a movie theater, unable to stand up because she knows she's about to start screaming. Movies are real. Welcome to the last podcast. I'm your host, Zach Little. This episode's about movies, and it's dedicated to the purple one. Do you go to the movies by yourself?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
The first time the other day.
For the first time?
Yeah, I saw Anomalisa by myself.
How was the experience of that? And also, did you like Anomalisa?
Well, I enjoyed because the reason I went alone is because I wanted it free of any other like opinion of like being with someone else. I wanted to just totally take it, because I knew if I went with someone,
Yeah, that's smart.
yeah, I would kind of like, it would feed into my opinion in a way. So I went alone, and I enjoyed it. I mean, to me, like Synecdoche, New York is Kaufman's like, that's the one for me.
Sure.
It's so hard. It's a film about everything that it's so like Anomalisa. I came out and I was like, okay, that was good. Of course, it's great, but like it wasn't Synecdoche. But also, the more I think about it, it gets better. The more I think about Anomalisa.
Yeah. Anomalisa is kind of the opposite of Synecdoche because it's almost like, it's so small scale that it's almost like overwhelmingly underwhelming.
Yeah. No, that's true. But I
Whereas,
think that's the whole point, isn't it? It's like,
yeah,
you're expecting this big thing to happen and it never happens. And he's kind of saying, we don't need this big thing. This isn't life. This is what life is. I'm showing you life right now.
Yeah. And it is something that over the course of a couple of days, and Anomalisa kind of perpetually freaks you out for like, 15-minute bursts.
That's so true. Yeah.
I go to the movies by myself a lot after work, or sometimes just in the morning.
Okay.
And I have no problem with it, like once I'm in the theater. But I will tell you that when I like go buy the ticket, I will like check my phone and stuff.
Okay.
Not because I know I'm not expecting anything, but as far as like the people in the theater, I want them to think I'm like gonna meet somebody.
Right. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so so far I do that almost every time. I would like to just smilingly say, "Hey, one ticket. I'm here by myself," and I'm getting there. But I mean, I've probably gone to 24 movies by myself, and I still have that issue.
So you have the anxiety of going alone to the cinema.
I don't want anyone to like look at me.
Like, what is this guy doing? What is he in Zootopia or whatever it's called?
I want them to know that it's a joyful thing and not a sad thing. Like, I'm not alone. I have lots of people in my life. I'm very lucky that way.
Yeah. You should walk in saying that. You should.
I should have a shirt that says, "I am loved. I have people in my life. I like to go to the movies by myself." And then on the back, only God can judge me.
Right. Yeah. I do get that anxiety of like, I need to pretend to be like waiting for someone or something like that, but I can't remember where it is. I think it's at the station, like the train station, when you're waiting for a train. It's like, oh, I'm not here on my own. I'm waiting for a person and a train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that. I'm trying to think if there's ever a time. Like, one thing I would like to do, I would love the idea of like go to like a bar by myself.
Oh no, that's it. That's
have
really
a drink
it.
by myself.
Yeah.
I've never done it.
No, I have, and that's the anxiety. That was when I was at a bar by myself. I mean, I just went for a drink. I mean, these things can happen.
Sure.
And like a cafe, that's where I do it. Like, I pretend. Unless I don't have a laptop or something where I'm pretending to write a screenplay, I'll just pretend, I'm waiting for someone. I'm not alone eating by myself.
Right.
Yeah, I think that happens.
It's a weird goal for me. It's a very selfish goal.
Yeah.
But the goal is to be able to do that with no anxiety, no shame.
We should be allowed to be by ourselves, though. Why is there a stigma attached to being alone?
I don't know.
It's so strange. It's so strange.
I think because being alone, being ultimately alone, is something that a lot of people are afraid of. So seeing it it's like the way that a little spider scares you because you're actually afraid of a giant spider.
So you're looking at your phone where? Like when you're sitting?
Like in the lobby.
Oh, in the lobby.
Like after I buy the ticket, look at my phone, maybe like the person I'm waiting to meet is on their way or something, or maybe they're already in the theater. that kind of thing.
And your unconscious mind knows that that's why you're doing it, because you want to put that out there.
Yeah, no, I definitely know that's why I'm doing it. And I also know
I'm not
that
alone.
There's an oftentimes, because of the kind of movies that I go see, there's a pretty good chance that there's going to be nobody else in the theater, and they know. Like, the people who just sold me the ticket know I'm the only one.
Right.
And I'm like pretending to go in to go meet my friend who's already got his seat or something. But we all agree to participate in the lie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like capitalism. We all just go, yeah, no, let's just fake it.
It would just be rude to say what's really going on here.
Yeah.
Chris and I just recently sat down and watched all maybe like 9.5 hours of Gone with the Wind. Have you ever seen it?
Which one's Gone with the Wind?
Gone with the Wind is Clark Gable and Vivian Leigh, and it's a beautiful tale of the old South, and how it.
So there's no Nazis in this movie?
No Nazis, no.
Okay, then I don't think I've seen it.
No, it's of course it's Frankly My Dear, I Don't Give a Damn, and
yeah.
I don't know nothing about Birth of No Babies, and the big last line of it, which I completely forgot was even a staple, is. After all, tomorrow is another day. And the orchestra swells and everybody chokes. It's just one of those movies where it's like, God, yeah, I guess it's important that we've seen this thing now, but it's such historical revisionist fucking bullshit. It's all about how the Civil War came knocking on the South's door. And
gross.
Yeah, the South was this genteel, beautiful place where the whites and the blacks sort of worked together in a symbiotic harmony, and everybody had respect for the roles that they played in the big house, if you know what I fucking mean.
Sure.
And then the fucking Yanks came knocking on the back door and lit fire and raped everybody.
Wow.
It's fucking. The movie is fucking garbage.
That's like how I always hate that. I always hate that, as a person who took some film classes and stuff, that Birth of a Nation has to be like taught to people. Because Birth of a Nation is, basically it's propaganda for the Klan. But it just so happens that fucking idiot, figured out a couple of camera things first. Somebody else would have got there, Yeah. Like, up until that point, basically, we were just pointing cameras at trains and watching them go by, and then he thought, well, what if I have actors, and what if the camera moves? And because he was the first guy to move a camera from left to right in a scene or something, he has to be in every textbook. And I like the idea that at least certain sections of thought, academic and social justice-y thought, are moving toward the idea that, like, no, we don't have to hold this shit up just because, and we can, destroy it. And when people get upset about politically correct language and kind of the overdrive version of it on Tumblr and everything, to some extent I understand that, but to some other extent, people are like, what are you going to do? You're going to get rid of words? You're going to destroy that part of our history? And I think, well, hey, let's fucking try. Why not? What if we did? What if we managed to eliminate aspects of our own history that we could forget about, like Eternal Sunshine or something? What if we pulled it off? I always get Schindler's List mixed up with Fiddler on the Roof, which is a really bad mix-up to make.
Yeah, you need to sort that out. That's a serious psychological issue.
I'm like, what's that song from Schindler's List? And they're like, hang on.
Wait, no. I mean, I don't think I've actually seen Schindler's List all the way through. Is that really bad? All I remember is the red coat.
I don't think I've seen Schindler's List all the way through.
Okay, there we go. That's fine.
There's so many. I don't think I've seen 2001: A Space Odyssey all the way through.
Yeah, true. That's true. It's a long film.
Yeah, it definitely is.
It's a long, boring, really great film.
I think I got it from the library a couple times when I was a teenager, and I just probably fell asleep before the end, and so I just haven't tried since.
That's understandable, I think. That's really understandable. I think that happens to most people.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I have more film nerdy gaps that I'm almost more embarrassed about. Like, I keep wanting to do some more like French New Wave. Like, I've never seen Breathless or like the 400 Blows or anything like that. And they're all there, you know. They're on a Hulu and shit.
Yeah.
And like, how come I haven't?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've just seen Breathless, and then I go, I know New Wave now.
Sure. Do you try to control, like, creatively? Do you try to control the input to output ratio? Because there are times when I think to myself, like, okay, I need to stop trying to make anything for a little while, and I just need to like read books and watch stuff and recharge.
Yeah. Well, this is my big anxiety, is that I've never seen enough, or I've never read enough to make anything good. So like for a long time, I'll just be like, oh, I've not read anything, I've not seen anything, I can't make anything. But then I'll like watch a good film and I go, oh, okay. I mean, I can't do this, but at least, you know, I've got to try and do it. It's like a good film really inspires you to make film, I think.
Yeah, but can you end up being like overly inspired, or because it's I think both things happen at once, where I get like sensory overload, and then also I get intimidated because you see too many good things and you go, well, I can't make those.
Okay, yeah, no, I know what you. Okay, this is a thing I think where good films make you want to make films, but they go, oh, I can't do that. Bad films make you go, oh, I can make a film. It will be better than that. But do I want to make a film when this shit is being made? Like,
right. It's like the it gives you the enthusiasm but not the inspiration.
Yeah.
And the good movies give you the inspiration but not the enthusiasm.
Yeah, you need both. You need to watch good films and bad films.
Or you need to just watch only like middle level.
Yeah.
Like movies that are pretty good.
Or no films at all, and just go, I can make films. I don't know what they are, but I'll make them.
I did see God Is Not Dead 2 the other day.
Jesus Christ, you went to God Is Not Dead 2?
I did. I paid money. I did it.
I don't get this.
I had to. I was so curious.
You do this, and when I talked to Paul Neefsey, he was talking about watching bad movies, which I used to do. But at a certain point, I thought to myself, someday I'm going to die. and
you will have watched those movies instead of good ones.
Yeah, should I be spending this time? Why? And he was saying, you know, you can learn more, the same amount, if not more, from a bad movie as you can from a good movie.
That's such a good point. I never think of it that way, because it's fun to watch a bad movie. But that's true whether you're trying to learn from it or not, honestly. You're
probably taking some lessons from the God's Not Dead 2 that you didn't even know that you will institute later into something. But for me, it's like, I've seen enough. I've seen enough bad movies. Sure. You know, I've made enough bad work myself.
Yeah.
I know. I don't need to know anymore.
Same. Yeah, I've watched enough bad stuff. My own stuff. LOL.
We were actually having a conversation recently about the worst movie you can remember seeing in the theaters, but I feel like part of the thing is it has to almost happen to you accidentally. If you seek out a bad movie, you can't really lay claim to it. But the one I could think of was we saw Evan Almighty, where like Steve Carell plays. Yeah. He plays like Noah, basically. Yeah. I don't know why I thought that was going to be good.
I feel like, what was the timing with The Office in relation to Bruce Almighty and Evan Almighty? Did he get more notoriety from The Office between those two movies? Is that why that one happened? Like, let's give I almost called him Michael Scott.
I can't imagine
Steve Carell.
I can't imagine that he would have. Maybe the Office had to have been on the air already, and maybe he was on the upswing. You know?
Sure.
Because I don't think Evan Almighty was that big of a production. Like, I think Bob Odenkirk directed it. I don't even.
Oh, that's interesting. Huh.
So I don't think it was a huge production. I'm gonna fact check myself because I think
I'm curious
that's
now.
true.
Yeah, thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that makes sense. I was thinking, like, well, The Office is really old, like 2003 or something, right? Maybe a little. Take 2 years.
Well, what? I'm thinking, ended 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and it was 9 seasons. So do the math backwards. 2006.
2006. Okay.
Bruce
Almighty was older than that, though.
Yeah. Okay, so Evan Almighty was 2007. Now,
I knew it. Yeah.
here's where I was wrong.
Okay.
It was directed by Tom Shadyac, but the writer is Steve Odenkirk.
So you have looked at these before. Like, you're not bullshitting me. You weren't just saying a name.
I saw the closing credits of the movie, and I said, "Is that fucking Bob Odenkirk?" Whatever. Fuck this movie.
I saw the Kirk in that name. I bet that was him.
Yeah.
Old Kirky boy.
So Steve Carell, The Office, ran from...
Man.
Oh, man, he's done a lot of shit since The Office. I gotta scroll way down this IMDb.
Oh, man.
2005 to 2013. So it was after season 2 of The Office. So not a big star.
Sure. Okay, that's fair.
I mean, and realistically, he shot it after season 1 of The Office, which was like 6 episodes that went by in a breeze that nobody noticed.
That's true. You know, I think he did do a really good job in Bruce Almighty, though, for what it was. So that's probably... People just liked his character because there were a lot of funny moments in it with him. I think that just the second movie was like... Just for a financial thing, like, we gotta make that, right? We gotta make
See, in my head, Steve Carell's character in Bruce Almighty is the same one from Anchorman.
I mean, pretty much.
It can't be, but...
Almost. There's this scene where he's basically possessed by Jim Carrey after he's God, and he's making him, like, screw up on the air on the news.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, like, that's, like, the famous scene I think people remember him from. Or, like, Steve Carell from the first Bruce Almighty. And, yeah, that one. That's kind of the one.
That was his moment. That did it for him.
It's the definitive, like, Bruce Almighty, Steve Carell funny scene, which is something everyone says all the time.
5 non-obvious directors. I think there's a certain canon of directors that we've all just sort of established and accepted are good, and maybe you haven't seen any of their work. A couple of the ones I can think of are Wes Anderson, Paul Thomas Anderson. They're not all Andersons, I promise. David Fincher, maybe. Spike Jonze, for sure. And then the previous generation, like Martin Scorsese. And Citizen Kane guy. What the fuck? Why can't I remember his name? For some reason, I just keep thinking Edward Norton. That's not right. But anyway, when I think about those directors, and when I list people like that as one of my favorite directors, I sort of think I'm not being totally honest. I don't know that 100% super established directors can really count as your favorite director because, you know, I mean, if everybody loves the same thing you love, look around. Maybe you're living in a polygamous compound. I don't know. I think if you say Wes Anderson is your favorite director, you're probably 100% right. And he also might be my favorite director. But here are 5 other directors which are less obvious selections. Nicole Holofcener, who's directed movies like Please Give and Friends with Money. They're all just very well put together, impeccably written, pretty in a sort of dirty way. Like, it was sort of pre the aesthetic of Girls. You know, she kind of was ahead of that. Except instead of everything being sort of brown, like on Girls, everything's a little bit kind of goldish colored, you know? Like the whole movie looks like it got spray tanned. And she just does, like, comedies of manners starring Amanda Peet. And I like that. I'll take that all the time. Drake Doremus. Number 4. Alright, so this is the guy who directed Like Crazy and Breathe In. And he's got this new one called Equus that looks fucking so dope. I think a lot of Drake Doremus' thing is he's good with colors, and then he's got Dustin O'Halloran, who does most of his scores, and that guy is lightning in a bottle, man. Even if you have not seen any of Drake Doremus' movies, look up Dustin O'Halloran on Spotify and listen to a couple of his, like, numbered opuses. Then imagine that lining up with a moment of emotional crisis for Guy Pearce. Sarah Polley. Okay, so I'm basing this basically on 2 movies that I've seen, which were both sort of very radically strange in their honesty. Take This Waltz and then Stories We Tell. One's a documentary, one's not. And there's something... Sarah Polley is like, I don't know, some kind of Canadian sex hippie. And maybe I can't really speak for what seems like fundamentally Canadian, but there's something... There is something so non-American about Sarah Polley's authorial voice, which is very interesting. Number 2. Joe Swanberg. I talk about Joe Swanberg all the time. He's a Chicago guy. He makes most of his stuff sort of outside, or at least as outside of the Hollywood system as he can. His movies are mostly just about people hanging out and talking. They're improvised. He's hardcore, man. He's the real deal. Happy Christmas is an amazing movie. Digging for Fire is pretty good. He seems to have a great relationship going with Jake Johnson from New Girl, and Jake Johnson's like bankrolling all of Joe Swanberg's artistic projects, and it's my favorite artistic bromance in the world. Shane Carruth, the original fucking independent movie pirate super stubborn, wildly creative, super inventive motherfucker, Shane Carruth. This guy's only made 2 movies. They're both perfect and incomprehensible. He's the greatest.
Have you seen any Roy Andersson movies? He's like a foreign director.
I don't know.
He made a film called You the Living. It's just like small vignettes of like people in houses, people in like people's lives, and you just see like they're very static shots. Like they're from one angle in a room. You never really see multiple angles. It's really great stuff.
Huh.
Like
That sounds cool. No, I haven't seen that, but that sounds great.
yeah, they're really sad as well. Like really sad.
Cool.
But yeah, I guess those are pretty good guys. I think maybe
It's weird because I kind of worry about now that so many movies are just big franchise machines. Like which directors are going to get sucked up into that? You know, there are some people who've made some good movies but who could be candidates for that. You know, like 2 weeks from now we could hear that Jeff Nichols is going to direct Star Wars 10. You know,
Okay.
But then there are people. I think the people that I tend to gravitate toward are the people that I know that would never happen to, like Joe Swanberg, like makes all his movies in Chicago,
That'd be
refuses
great.
to move to L.A.
Yeah.
Oh man, a Star Wars movie directed by Joe Swanberg would be amazing.
So good.
It would just be about the guys who work on the X-wings, you know, and just like them in the factory, and then just going home and like having problems with their girlfriend, and then it's just kind of working out, and you know everybody just sort of being fine at the end, you know,
Oh,
and
I'd
there's
love
no
that.
major conflict. That's a great Star Wars movie.
That would
right
be
there.
so good. That would be so good. But are you not excited by the fact that Rian Johnson is directing a Star Wars though?
No, I am,
Okay.
but I think it solidified for me that he'll never truly be one of my favorite directors.
Okay.
You know, because he will be good at that, and the people that are truly my favorite directors would be bad at that. Like I would be bad at it.
Interesting.
You know, like
Yeah.
So
That's interesting though, because do you not think that like could a Wes Anderson do a Star Wars? Do you think? Like,
and this is fun to imagine. Like, what would a Coen Brothers Star Wars be like?
Yeah.
Well, Wes Anderson. The problem with Wes Anderson, he'd be great at the transitions in Star Wars, like the goofy wipes and stuff. But the composition would be all off for him.
That would be
because,
insane.
You know, like no spaceship looks good looking directly at it.
True.
But that's like he would do everything like that kind of 1 point perspective.
Yeah.
And it would just look weird as hell. And I think Star Wars it wouldn't hold up to like voiceover narration, and I think that
True.
I don't know,
True.
I don't know that Wes Anderson knows how to do anything else. Can you imagine instead of the crawl, it's like Alec Baldwin's voice being like, you know,
Yeah.
some time ago there was a fleet of ships. 5 movies you should see without hearing anything about them at all.
Number 5.
10 Cloverfield Lane.
Number 4.
Coherence.
Number 3.
Triangle.
Number 2.
The Imposter.
Number 1.
Enemy. I wonder about that with actors sometimes, you know, because there are certainly some actors who are never they do not do any kind of physical transformation. And when you're Christian Bale and you're like, I've decided I'm going to lose 70 pounds for this role, as a director, do you have to try to talk him out of that? Or are you like, this is going to be good? Like, where
Do you mean like a moral responsibility for their health? I think, like, we all know that Christian Bale doesn't do that because he's committed to his craft. He does it for the awards, I assume. For, like, oh my god, he's an amazing actor, he's the Daniel Day-Lewis of his generation.
Yeah, I guess Daniel Day-Lewis is the one who started that.
I mean, I'm not well-versed enough to know if that's true, but I would... Daniel Day-Lewis is the go-to method acting example.
Yeah. I know, people must have thought he was such an asshole, like on those movies when he wouldn't get out of his wheelchair between takes and that kind of thing.
What about Shia LaBeouf doing it in, what was that? Was it Fury, the Brad Pitt thing, where, like, he wouldn't wash the whole time? Like, he stunk, and, like, he pulled his tooth out, and he cut his own face?
Really?
Yeah.
I started watching that movie one day, and it was just so grim and so violent, but not even, like, I only got, like, 15, 20 minutes into the movie, but there wasn't even any fights. It was just that, like, Seven style, like, bloody aftermath. And just wallowing in it that I had to turn it off. I was like,
I didn't watch it. I didn't. Yeah. Well, I mean, I tried. I didn't make it all the way through. I thought it was kind of boring.
Yeah, it was boring. And then like there's a, like I got to the part where like Logan Lerman like picks half a face off of the ground from inside the tank, and I was like, enough, goodbye.
It's quite astonishing how you could have such sort of like a potentially gripping theme, and like, you know, there's a lot of action. Usually you think, oh, in this movie a guy picks half a face off the ground, I want to see that, but they've somehow managed to just make it kind of feel like a bit like a really long, like, just drama. It's just like, oh, we're thinking about it, we're a bit angry, watch us for a really long time.
Yeah, it was over serious.
There's nothing engaging about it.
Which is that the I get all these. There's a bunch of directors that are named David that I get mixed up now, but I thought they were maybe that was the Suicide Squad guy. I don't know. Is it? I don't know. I've been angrily thinking about that movie because there's been like some kind of viral marketing thing with the Joker on Twitter, like for the last week, where there's all these promoted tweets from the Joker, and it's like, I don't think the Joker would ever be on Twitter.
I haven't seen that. I'm glad I haven't seen that.
Yeah, you're lucky.
You interested in it? Are you interested in Suicide Squad?
I'm not really interested in any of those. I go see all of these superhero movies, and I don't really like any of them anymore. But I'll go see it. Yeah, I'm interested in Margot Robbie playing Harley Quinn. Oh yeah,
we all are.
That seems like that'll be cool. I'm really uninterested in Jared Leto playing the Joker.
I want to see it because Jared Leto really interests me as sort of an individual who takes himself so seriously. Like, he has that, I don't know if we talked about him before, but he has that whole, like, second coming of Christ, like, thing that he does on stage. And yeah. I think that he has that opinion of himself in whatever performance he does. And, like, he's gone, I'm going to make the Joker my own role. No one can make the Joker their own after Heath Ledger. Just leave it. Leave it now. Unless you do it sort of like as a parody. Which he might have done, but I feel like he wouldn't have done that because he's Jared Leto and he's like, I'm the best one.
I feel like everybody's hand is forced because DC so badly wants to have like a big franchise. Yeah. So they have to, but they just don't. They don't have the backbench that Marvel does with characters. What do they have? They got Batman. They got Superman. And it immediately falls off after that. Batman, Superman. Aquaman, shit. Like, they're like, oh no, we have nothing. We do not have nearly the character depth. Not that any of the characters are deep. I mean, but like if you stood all the characters in front of each other, it would be really deep going back. Like there'd be a big field of people. Yeah. And Marvel has all those people, and they also have actors who want to work with each other. So they're like, oh, we've got Paul Rudd now. So other people are like, oh, I'll be in a superhero movie with Paul Rudd. But then, but the DC has the opposite problem because they're like, we have Ben Affleck, and everyone's like, hard pass. And they're like, what about Henry Cavill? And they're like, who's Henry Cavill?
Yeah. Like the thing is with that, like they only have two, but they had two of the best ones. They did have two of the best, most well-known ones. Like everyone, yeah, sure, we all know Iron Man, but that's because of all the movies.
That's true.
But pre-film, Batman, Superman, they're the two that you say first, and Spider-Man, I guess, also.
Yeah, Spider-Man's third.
And then they just shat all over it.
Yeah,
with this fucking Batman versus Superman bollocks.
I still haven't seen that, but I don't know. I know it won't be good, but I want to see it anyway. I want to see Jesse Eisenberg played Lex Luthor.
Yeah. That's the only pull for me is Jesse Eisenberg playing Lex Luthor. And I know it won't be good. I know I'm not going to find him interesting in it. It's not a Jesse Eisenberg. But I feel like I trust Jesse enough. Like, we're on first name terms. I feel like I trust him enough to make good decisions. But then Miles Teller was in Fantastic Four, and I trusted him to... No, why don't I trust him? He's making terrible
he's in
films.
Divergent and stuff.
But I thought that maybe after Whiplash he'd go, I'm serious now.
Yeah.
I can do stuff. Whereas Jesse's not really made like a terrible movie. He's made like some teen movies, which are some of the better ones of their genre, maybe. Like Zombieland, Adventureland. They're good for what they are.
He likes to make movies about land.
Yeah, exactly. But other than that, like he's done like Squid and the Whale, one of my favorite movies.
Every time I remember Squid and the Whale, I just think about that kid who was like, his little brother was like jerking off onto books or something. That was like the most ridiculous detail, and I think about that like every 3 weeks. The fucking Squid and the Whale. Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. That's like where my relationship with happiness, like it isn't like the pedophile thing, it's not like the depth of the characters, it's not Philip Seymour Hoffman, it's just that kid like coming onto that like railing at the end. Like that's the only thing I remember about it. And the dog licking it off.
Yeah,
maybe that says a lot more about us.
I don't know. I think what it says is, you know, if you're going to write something with a person coming on some weird object in your movie, be prepared for that to basically be the only thing people remember.
Yeah. I'm trying to think now of a movie where someone's came on something and it hasn't stuck out. But that's an impossible thing to do. It's like, how can I remember things that I've forgotten? I don't know what I don't know anymore.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's a list somewhere. I bet you could probably look up the tag or something on IMDb.
Yeah, or like some neckbeard. The way that they make like lists about like boob and vagina shots in movies.
Yeah.
Like, what is that in Knocked Up where they're talking about that website?
Yes,
like,
they think they're inventing a website, and it turns out the website already exists.
Yeah, well, it would be that, but for cum.
Yeah. It's a pretty good idea. It's a good thing you said it on this podcast, so nobody else can take it from you. Okay,
so what do you want to talk about, Zach?
One of the first things, let's just shift immediately from cum to there are times when I think to myself, you know, if I wanted to, I could write things that are darker, I could make things that are darker, I could go look in that closet, but I'm like, but I don't want to. I know what's in that closet. I could engage with it. I can. I've written it in my head already. I've written the whole script. I've learned the whole lesson. But I'm not going to do it because it's going to make me miserable, you know? Like, Todd Solondz must be so miserable.
Oh, my God.
Like, every new blank page is more, more filth you have to cover it with. You know, what's the guy jerking off with and crying about this time?
Oh man, he's a version of Snyder. Like I think they both just look at humanity and they're like, God, what? I have to tell stories about a people that I kind of on some level despise and pity at the same time.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's something almost a little warmer and more recognizably human about Todd Solondz than Zack Snyder. Todd Solondz, I think, is on the side of people. You know. Maybe not as explicitly, but he's doing it in a quiet way.
Where does Miranda July fall in that spectrum?
Fuck Miranda July.
She's the worst.
That's where Miranda July is on that. Oh man, no. You know, Miranda July is a bullshit artist basically.
Oh man.
There's nothing behind the eyes.
And does she know that she's full of nonsense? That's another. Like it all comes back to that. I want to be like, do you know that your nonsense is just smoke and mirrors and bullshit?
Miranda July is like art junk food, you know? Like, I read her collection of short stories, No One Belongs Here More Than You. I read it. I watched The Future, and I watched Me and You and Everyone We Know. I liked Me and You and Everyone We Know. The Future, I wanted to punch through my computer screen when I was watching it. But it's eventually what I realized was the reason it does a little bit for me but leaves me empty is it's like chicken McNuggets, you know?
Well, I had the exact opposite, not same. I got through The Future. Mm-hmm. I could not get through half an hour of You and Me and Everyone We Know.
I think I saw Me and You, I think when I was like 17 or 18 years old. So okay. I was when you're that age, you can pretty much absorb any weird movie, you know? Mm-hmm. Because you're like, oh, movies can be weird, you know? So you have like you have a lot of room for it at first. And then I watched all of the movie fucking Time Code. That was 4 split screens and it was all one continuous take for like 80 minutes. Oh, it's already garbage. And it's real bad. But I watched the whole thing when I was 17, 18 years old because I just my appetite for that sort of thing was just it was voracious. You know, any kind of weird art at all. I was like, give it to me, and I think that's great. Like 17-year-olds, I've been at weird movies behind like 17-year-old kids who are, you can see them absorbing. You know, it's baby's first weird movie, and
it's Baby Einstein.
As much as you, in much as in the moment as you hate them, you're like, but this was me, you know, and this is an important part of the creative cycle. So go for it. I don't want to fuck this up at all. You know, I don't want to be one of those people who ever tells a young person not to like or be interested in some kind of weird art, or to say that sucks. This is better. Like, I always want to be like, that's great, that's cool. What you like now is your speed, you know? And if you're pushing yourself a little bit to like that thing, you're going to eventually move on. You're going to get to what I think is cool, eventually. But if I go in there and interfere with your own growth, I'm probably going to screw it up, you know? I'm going to give you something you don't like. You know, you got to guard everybody's light, you know? You got to just cup your hands around it and be like, good that you're burning.
I think those weirdo, like, baby's first weird movies for me would have been, like, probably late high school was Waking Life.
Oh, yeah, sure. I saw that at the time.
Which, like, I was gobsmacked. I think I watched it 3 times in a row before taking it back to Blockbuster or something.
Yeah, did you understand any of it?
No.
Because I certainly didn't.
And I rewatched it maybe about 2 years ago, and I was like, oh, what seems so dense to me now in terms of like the philosophy everyone's talking about seems much more accessible now.
I literally had this thought like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
I thought I should watch Waking Life again because I bet I'll get it.
Oh yeah, you will. It's not that dense. It's really not that crazy. They're talking about like, what is language? How did a caveman know to come up with the word danger or tiger? And I watched it again. I was like, oh, this is not even like philosophy 101. Like, this is just pretty basic stuff.
Yeah.
And then the other one, have you ever seen Short Bus?
No, I didn't. That's John Cameron Mitchell, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think I saw that maybe my first year of college, and that was a formative movie because I think it was the first time I'd ever seen something on the big screen that was just a huge cast of queer characters.
Right.
Like, but if I watched it now, I don't know how I'd feel about it because there's a whole sequence where there's like a threesome between 3 guys, and at one point they're all just singing into each other's asses. Like a weird, like a musical Human Centipede almost.
You know, I think I heard about stuff like that in that movie, and I was like, pass.
Yeah. So what was sort of like crazy and brave and courageous might come off a little passé now, sort of like how early 90s gay films come off now to me, where I'm
sure.
We needed these movies. They were the first movies to sort of tell the stories that needed to be told. They're a little stiff now. Maybe the writing's a little bit too on the nose, but we can't really blame them for that because no one had even attempted to talk about this stuff before. So I'm not going to take the feather out of your cap, movie. I'm going to keep your feather right where it is.
Yeah, I think the best progressive art is a blunt instrument, especially in retrospect. You know, because if it did its job, the lessons it was trying to teach have already been learned by everybody. So it seems kind of quaint in retrospect to look back at what it was trying to do and how it was trying to shock and that sort of thing.
Do you think people will feel that way about Stonewall?
This is so off topic, but I feel like, you know, when I had the phone call,
yeah,
I feel like you are thinking, oh, that's going to make a really great bit. You're going to use that bit. I know that you really like that. I know. It's like, I feel like I wonder about whether or not I can do any kind of that shit in the next season of this show, because I did all that for real. And I mean, like, in the first episode, my brother was playing the organ, and then he started talking about his piano teacher who died. Okay.
And it was a real moment between the two of us talking.
Yeah.
And then I heard it on the tape afterwards, and I was like, cha-ching, brilliant moment. That's gonna really, it's gonna set the tone for this podcast, because we're gonna be able to go from like a weird joke to some music to suddenly we're talking about a teacher dying and it being a real thing.
That's good.
And then we're gonna go back into jokes. So but you get that lightning in a bottle a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you're just standing in a field with a bottle and a lightning rod, and everybody's like, "Well, come on, buddy."
Yeah.
You got to keep finding the new version of that.
Yeah.
That said, I'll probably keep that phone call in there.
Yeah, I knew it.
Today's episode of The Last Podcast featured the voices of Chelsea Fisher, Max Wallace, Jon Pernisek, and Ryan O'Connor. Music was provided by the Pinch Hill Orchestra. To support this show, rate it on iTunes, write a review, or you could go to zacharylittle.bandcamp.com and, buy something. Thanks for listening. See you next week.